Alright, so there is a problem, a rising, annoying and quite a problematic nuisance in society. I don't know where is it coming from. I actually know where it is coming from, but I'm not liking the way it is heading forward in our society. Now this problem isn't there in every parts of the country. This problem isn't there in every nooks and corner of my motherland, my country, but this is very specific to the top 10% of the metropolitan cities. This is very specific and this is very prevalent in the kind of people I see, I meet and I hang out with on a daily basis, and I am not liking the look of it. So yes, the rising pandemic of simps and incels is becoming a problem in my country and it is getting into my head. I want to fix it, I want to talk about it, and I want to address it the best way I personally can. Gentlemen, my name is Mayank Bhattacharya. This is Life Essentials. Let's roll the intro. Okay, so before I start the video, here is a brief disclaimer. Who is this video for and who is this video not intended to be? Well, if I can be honest, this video is only suitable for the top 5-10% of the metropolitan cities. This video is not for the majority of my basic citizens. This video is not for the majority of the people, because we as a country, India as my motherland, is still very conservative. It is still very old school, both in the masculine and both in its feminine terms. But there is a set section of the society which is a lot more progressive, a lot more liberal. There is a set section of the society which is doing things a lot more in global context, a lot more in global terms. Therefore, this video is catering to those men. I think this channel itself caters to such men. So if you are a metrosexual, if you are urban, if you are progressive and liberal with your thoughts, this is your video. If you are someone conservative, if you are old school, and on a broader term, if you are an arranged marriage kind of a guy, then this video is of absolute no use. Come back next week or come back in a few days when we'll have a whole different video for you, or you can go to the channel and watch something else which will probably suit your need much better. That being clear, that being said, let's get into the pandemic. Okay, so what do I really mean when I say that there has been a rising pandemic of incel and simps in my country? Well, these are the two extreme ends of our balanced spectrum. I would want you to be right in the middle. I would want you to be right at the center. But the thing is, what I'm noticing a lot lately is people are either becoming a lot more simpier or a lot more hardcore red pill chauvinist incel type of dudes, which isn't doing any good to them either. This is a problem, and I personally feel there are 5 solid reasons for it. There are 5 undenying reasons for it that we need to tackle and we need to address right now. Alright, so the very first problem being the rise of the incel mentality and the rise of the extreme red pill NGTOW movement in the country. Well, this has been a conservative country since a very long time, especially post-independence, especially post all of the colonial rule. We are still finding it tough, we are still fighting it hard to come back to our liberal, progressive terms. We are still finding it hard to come back to our actual original form. So we are still, as a society, quite conservative and quite old school. So in a society where the undertone is already quite conservative, in a society where thoughts and ideas are already quite old school, already quite outdated than what it should be, there is no need for such extreme rise of such extreme mindset. Because what this is leading up to is a group full of selfish men and women. What this is leading up to is a group full of men who aren't really bothered about anyone else's feelings or emotions, who aren't really bothered about their own well-being, their own feelings or emotions, and similarly a group of women who aren't really bothered about anyone else's feelings or emotions, and it's just becoming a lot more selfish, a lot more narrow than what it should have been at the very first place. Extremism on either ends is never a healthy lifestyle. Extremism on either ends cannot be transformative, it cannot be productive for anyone's sake at any given time. So what we meaning the top 10%, the urban metrosexual men of this country, what we need to focus on, what we rather need to put our time and energy into is for our personal growth, is for our personal betterment. By not shaming someone, by not hating on someone, and by not simping over some ideas or some thought processes. I see a lot of men either simping over women, relationships, or their work and ideas. Just because you think you have a lot more control of your work and your personal ideas, it does not really make you any better of a man if you are simping over any such thoughts and ideas. The same applies when you simp over a partner. The same applies when you are just a very people-pleasing, a very people-liking person in general. If you really care about people's opinion on you and your personal opinion on the world, then you'll not be able to grow and become a fulfilled man. This is not I would want you to ever do in your life as best as you can. So what you need to focus on right now, what we as the urban men need to focus on right now, is not be on the extreme end of the incel or the simps mentality. We should not be simping over ideas, women, whatever that it may be. We should strive and we have to fight hard to find a balance. Neither should we start hating on something just because of someone's perspective or someone's prerogative. That's not how life is. That's not how growth happens, and that's not how you can transform. This is not the case for the majority of the population. I mean, you'll probably not see me talk about this topic or even make a video on this topic on my other channel, the Hindi channel, because this is not a problem for such masses. This is not a problem for my Hindi audience, because most of them are conservative. They'll probably get married at the early age. They'll probably have a wife, and they'll probably not even be facing these problems which all these top 5-10% population is facing right now, which brings me to the problem number 2. The rise of virginity, loneliness, and single men. Again, this is not the case for the majority of my country. This channel is only catering to the top 10-15% of the metropolitan metrosexual men, and I am seeing a lot of metrosexual men. I'm seeing a lot of my friends being single and lonely and very depressed about it. Now, if you're single and happy, then you don't need to worry much about it. You're living quite a fulfilled life. But that's not the case as you would think for the 90% of the time. All the men I see who are single and lonely at my age, which is around 30, 29, 33 years old, they are not really happy, they are not really joyful, they are not really very excited about life. They all need a partner, they all seek a partner, they all crave a partner. And this is only going to get worse in the coming days and years. Why? Well, because this population, the population of the metrosexual men, is living a very confused life. They aren't getting married at the early age like they would, like the conservative friends would. By the age of 23, 24, they would probably be married. Yes, even I have a few of my guy friends who got married at the age of 24, 25, and they are living their absolute best life, no problems whatsoever. But this isn't a very common case anymore in the urban metrosexual men. They are delaying their marriage because they are trying to focus on their path, they are trying to focus on their purpose. But in the process of doing so, they are totally ignoring the fact that the lack thereof social dynamics or your primitive gains can actually hamper your mental health, your psychological health in a terrible way. Gentlemen, your body is supposed to act and behave a certain way at a set point in time, at a set point in age of your life. If you're a 26-year-old virgin who hasn't ever been with a woman, who hasn't ever touched a woman, who hasn't ever been loved or touched by a woman, if you're a 35-year-old virgin who hasn't ever had that kind of an experience, chances of you being mentally stable is fairly low. Chances of you being a productive, progressive, and a very thought-provoking individual is very low. Yes, there could be a few rare cases. You could probably point out some examples and you can be like, but look at him, but look at that guy. They have had a lifestyle which you can't afford. The amount of meditations or the amount of self-awareness they have, most of the population, 99% of the population lack that mental fortitude. So if you give me an example of APJ Abdul Kalam Azad or Ratan Tata, you do not live their lifestyle. You cannot live their lifestyle. They are the 0.1% of an anomaly. So here's what I'd like you to keep in mind. Don't fall in for this 0.1% and 1% of the anomaly cases. This is not a general life example. Most of the population, 99.9% of the urban modern men, being single and lonely at the age of or after the age of 26, 28, 30, 35, will be depressed, will feel very lonely, will feel very sad, will feel very low, very unproductive if they do not act on it consciously. If they do not raise their self-awareness, if they do not meditate, if they do not do a certain lifestyle, being a virgin single man is not going to be anything easy. Which brings me to the point number 3, which is causing the pandemic of incels and simps. The rise of social media, internet, and the god-awful web 3. Now, I have got nothing against the development and the modernization of internet. Had it not been for social media, I wouldn't be here, you wouldn't know me, nothing would have happened. But you see, every coin has its two sides. The one side that you possibly see and all talk about is the positives, the goods, and the nicer side of things, where we get to have more jobs, we get to do whatever we want, and internet being such a beautiful tool. The other side being the rise of porn and men not wanting to step out, not wanting to socialize, or lacking the skill thereof of socializing and interacting with people in real, because they would rather sit on their phone, consume free Instagram reel by some amazing influencers, or watch unwarranted porn with no accountability whatsoever. Access to porn and all these things weren't an easy task 5 to 10 years ago. I mean, I kid you not when I tell you this. You literally had to go out to some shady bookstores or some shady DVD rental guys, and you needed to rent out stuff from them and watch it in a VCR, DVD, stuff like that. That was a task. You needed to put in some effort. It was a lot more difficult maybe 20-30 years ago, but it has become a lot more easier and a lot more accessible now. It'll probably become a lot more creepier, a lot more crazier in the coming days, when people are going to put on their virtual reality glasses and probably have internet sex with someone who wouldn't really be a real person in general. I mean, honestly speaking, I wouldn't be surprised hearing the fact that, oh my god, meet my e-girlfriend or meet my virtual girlfriend or stuff like that. That could be absolute bizarre and weird in my head, but that could be a thing. That could be a thing in the next 2-3 years, because that's the way the generations are heading forward, and I am not at all pleased. Gentlemen, 99% of us, 99.9% of us are social creatures. Human beings are social creatures. Irrespective of you being an introvert or an extrovert, you would want to interact with people every now and then. Yes, an extrovert would like to meet people a lot more than an introvert, but that does not make an introvert an absolute nomad or an absolute weird, irrelevant person who'll probably be in his box all the time. If you are always in your room and not wanting to step out ever and see anyone in real, then my friend, you are depressed. You are going through a terrible mental breakdown. You either need therapy right now, or you need to start some serious kriya, some serious dhyan right now, because that shouldn't be healthy, that shouldn't be normal at all. But this is going to become a lot more normal, because people are lacking the skill, people are lacking the motive, people are lacking the intent to step out, interact, approach, fail, and eventually meet a person in real. As the days pass, as we progress, it will become a lot more irrelevant, or it will become a lot more demotivating for people to go out and talk to random people or make friends with people, because they'll not want to face the rejection. This idea of failing will become such a prominent, big task for normal average men that they would rather not fail ever and be in their home and experience nothing in their life then go out and probably get rejected by a couple of girls for making an approach. That's how weird the society is going to be, especially for the 10-20% of the urban modern Indian men. And the last thing I would want to happen on my watch on this YouTube channel is make these urban Indian men suffer, because I don't see it being healthy. I don't see it being nice for anyone in this given society. Yes, you are making a lot more money than usual. Yes, everything is making a lot more fun and exciting and a lot more sense than usual, but this should be for your empowerment. This should be for your betterment. This should not be putting you down. This should not be making you a social weird fuck. Because the fourth reason why I feel men are also getting demotivated and not finding a worthy reason to go out and approach and probably work on their social skills, get out of their simp or their incel mindset, is because there are a lot of content creators now, there are a lot of like-minded visual pleasers now who are actually creating content to please these guys instead of forcing them to work on themselves. I mean, I remember this happening to the extreme feminazi movement, where the feminist term was totally destroyed and women empowerment became a weird fucking thing altogether. Now I can see it happening in my manosphere. Now I can see it happening with the men's self-improvement world as well. Instead of a man telling his mate or his friends to work on himself, to fix himself, to improve his skills, he's rather going to compliment him, he's rather going to soften him further, because that friend in discussion is too soft to take an abuse. The friend in discussion is too soft to actually face rejections in real. This is happening, I see it happening, and I see it becoming a very big problem in the coming future. The kind of content creators that you see nowadays are the ones that are pleasing to the extreme stupid mindset of an unwilling man wanting to work and grow himself. I mean, I kid you not when I tell you this. All the first world countries, be it the United States, Australia, UK, you can see a group of content creators coming in there who are literally teaching and schooling men on how they should not improve themselves, how they should not work on themselves, how they should not be actually upskilling themselves, improving themselves for their good and doing something better with their life. And instead, they are just telling the men that, men are supposed to be like this, as is. Whether they like it or not, that's their problem. This is how we are supposed to be. How stupid and how moronic and how dogmatic of a thought this could possibly be. If I can be honest, I quite honestly like the old school conservative people who live in my country, because they don't really have to worry about all this bullshittery of social dynamics drama. When they are of a certain age, their parents will find someone, he'll probably go meet the chick, there'll be a couple days meeting, third day they'll get married and they'll have a life and they'll probably figure it out going forward. That's a lot more easier, that's a lot more uncomplicated, that's a lot more simplified, and that's a lot less pain in the ass than this process where you want to be with someone of your choice, someone of your liking, someone of your desire, someone of your compatibility. If this is something that you seek, if this is the idea of companionship that you would want in your life, you just can't sit there, have an old school mediocre thought of a random fucking chick coming and popping into your life of your liking without you having to work on yourself even one bit. Yes, it can happen. If you really want someone to pop into your life, let it be to your parents. You live in this country, you live in a country of arranged marriages, by the way. 99% or 98% of Indian marriages are still arranged. So I'm possibly talking to only 2 to 5% of the people who still would want to put in the work to probably find someone of their choice. You see, the amount of people I'm targeting right now, the demographic to who I'm talking to right now is very, very small, very small. But I still do care about that small 5 to 10% demographic. I still do feel that it is relatively a little better in terms of the other 90% demographic, but that's just my personal opinion on it. But I do, however, feel that the majority, the 95% whosoever are doing arranged marriages, they're doing it a lot more smart, they're doing it a lot more easy, they're doing it a lot more level-headed and at their comfort space than the 5% who actually have to put in the work to improve themselves, to work on communication skills, to learn game, to learn image and all of that extra things. Now, honestly speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming 5 or 10 years, even the arranged marriage market of our country, which is a very big market, even if you talk about monetary wise, this is probably a $50-60 billion market in the country. That's how big the arranged marriage market is. I wouldn't be surprised if this market gets a hint of the liberal world, gets a little more progressive and becomes more like a dating app than an absolute rhetoric arranged marriage website. If that does happen, and the day that does happen, all you men who aren't willing to work on themselves, all you men who chose to sit on your ass and do nothing about your physique, your intellect, your talks, your money, whatever, y'all be out of luck, y'all be out of job, y'all be out of wife and partners in this case. And I see it happening very fast. This country is getting back to its roots, and we are the founder of Kama Sutras and many other things, many other sexual and interpersonal things that the world didn't even know of before we did. So now that we are getting back at it, now that people, even the conservative people, are getting a little more liberal and progressive about it, it'll soon be a dogfight. Because up until now, the men thought, the society thought, and the society narrated that a man only has to make money in order to possibly find his perfect or supposed partner. This narrative is swiftly changing because now all or most men are making a decent living in general. So what else do you offer? What else do you have on the table? If there are 5 men on this arranged marriage website or arranged marriage app who are making equal amount of money, who have similar kind of degrees or lifestyle per se, then what else would you have? How would you stand out? How would you become the man who will possibly find a girl even on this arranged marriage website? Now, yes, we do have a lot of options in this country. You'll probably say that, I'll probably find a chick here and there whatsoever. There are so many women on this arranged marriage portal, that shouldn't be a problem. Yes, you're saying it now because you don't see it as a problem. This has become a problem on the dating apps. Men are finding it extremely difficult to find women, and women are finding it extremely easy to find high quality men because most men are doing pretty well for themselves. So the extra self-improvement that all the men needed, which was the core concept of Manosphere, which was the core concept of the Red Pill, which was the core concept of you becoming your best damn self so that you excel in whatever you do in your life. Irrespective of work, business, happiness, relationship, whatever you do, you have to be in a place where you possibly do it the best way and you excel at it. That whole idea is getting lost. That whole idea is getting limited to the idea of making money and only money. This is going to change very soon, and you'll probably be left with no options if the only thing you focused on, now this is not for the majority, this is only for the 10% of the metrosexuals. If you only focus on making money, which you already are because you are in the top 10% of the country, if you only focus on making money, and if you never really had any other skills beside making money, how else are you going to stand out from the remaining 100 men who are making your or maybe a little bit more than you in general? You'll be out of luck, you'll be out of skills, you'll be out of options in no given time. Gentlemen, this may sound abrasive, this may sound very offensive, this may sound not so pleasing to your pleasant earbuds, but this is a marketplace. Yes, in the West, the dating is a marketplace. In our motherland, your arranged marriage is a marketplace. Had it not been a marketplace, it wouldn't have been worth 60, 70, I don't know, 120, 300 billion dollars. Do you see how much money that is? Do you realize how big of a market this is? And amidst this market, if you think you're not a commodity, if you think you aren't up for sale, if you think the only thing you can possibly have in your profile is a decent job and women will fly off to you, good luck with that. Yes, good luck with your simpy attitude where you go head over heels about every fucking chick that you see in your life, or good luck being an absolute rhetoric incel where you don't want to work on yourself, whether you don't want to improve yourself, whether you don't want to even focus on the problems you lack or the problems you have, and be this weird off socially awkward fuck that you are trying out to be, that you're turning out to be. Examples like Ratan Tata, APJ Abdul Kalam Azad, they are epic inspirations to have. I have got 5 books by Ratan Tata and APJ Abdul Kalam right there. I love them. They are few of my epic role models, but they are my role models. They are my inspirations. They are just an anomaly. I look up to them for their work ethic. I look up to them for their ideas, for the vision they have for the country, for the vision they at least had for the country, and all of that good things. They are anomaly. They are an exceptional to the mass that we live in. If you try to model yourself from that rare exception that you see in this world, you'll probably become the worst version of yourself that you never thought you could possibly be. I do not want you to be your worst. I want you to be and live your absolute best life that even you aren't sure of that you could ever be. I hope this helps. I hope this was well worth your time. Now, in case you do want to stop being a simp or stop being a damn incel who is not really working on himself, and if you're someone who really wants to work on himself, improve his image, improve his style, and becoming the best damn man that there is, because honestly speaking, the competition is getting so weird and so awkward every passing day that the high quality, the actual genuine level-headed sane men are reducing to minuscule numbers. I mean, I kid you not when I tell you this. The average men are becoming so low in quality that the ones who are watching these videos, the ones who are wanting to work on themselves, आपके लिए ज़िंदगी उतनी ही आसान होने वाली है. The life is only going to get so much more easier for you because the competition is only going to get so much worse in everything else than their holy work. So if you want to be above the competition, if you want to be that man who works on himself and improve his image and style and looks the absolute best that he can, you can possibly check out Teamy Basics sexy shirts, polos, Henleys, all of it at teamybasics.com. You can check out our Boseden shoes. Annual Boseden sale is now live. Our tan Chelsea boots now for freaking amazing discount. In case you haven't, check it out. You'll probably lose your mind. Full grain Italian leather shoes. A lot of exciting things happening. Our jeans coming up, signature polos coming up. A lot of things happening. I wouldn't probably want you to try any other brand. I wouldn't probably want you to wear any other brand besides our own Teamy Basics and Boseden. In case you wouldn't know, we also have our sexy Heads Up, the best hair paste in this country. In case you haven't, you should totally be checking it out on our Instagram. The launch date is going to be out very soon. August is the month it is coming out. You'll probably have an idea on the launch date if you follow us on Instagram. Link in description box. This is beautiful, one of the beautiful hair paste you can have on your head for all the sexy hairstyles that you could possibly think. This is a paste. This is not a wax. I don't want a thing where you'll have to possibly emulsify for half an hour. This is a paste. You don't have to emulsify nothing. You just need to take small pea amount of it, rub it in your hand. It's like a freaking cream. A very strong, very matte, a beautiful smelling cream. In case you haven't, you should totally check Cavs Grooming out on our Instagram as well for its launch date. I hope this video was well worth your time. I hope you don't end up becoming an incel or a mighty simp. My name is Mayank Bhattacharya. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Jai Hind. Take care. Bye.